Hello and welcome to the brunch. I'm Njie. Before anything, sitting in for Joy Mama. Well, it's been a long time since we were on this desk, and that is, of course, due to other very hectic schedules for all of us. We couldn't meet together here. So we are pleased to have you once again on the brunch. Like I said, I'm sitting in for Joy Mama, and the panelists, of course, are very familiar faces, Nima Kamara and Mustafa Dabo. We will also have familiar features in the program, such as Hotspot and, of course, the entrepreneur. All are coming later in the program. Now, after welcoming you, of course, we will introduce Mustafa and Nima. Well, where all of us to start with. Where were you in the last few weeks?
That's an interesting question. Sometimes I was here, other times I was away. When I was here, I think the Fatou crew was somewhere else in, was it the Makati Festival? And then there was the launching of the bridge. And when I was not here, I was in Casamas.
I can vouch for Mustafa. Well, sadly, he lost his father, Mustafa, so it was really a sad moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And accept our condolences.
Accept our condolences. Now, I was in Dakar in the days leading up to the inauguration of the Senegambia Bridge. As you know, it was preceded by a road relay that the organizers think will be the longest run in Africa. And it started in Farafenni Bridge right down to Koloban in Dakar. And I was among the team.
Covering
when this this concept was sampled, and they think that it will be an annual event. It was riding tested. We stopped in Kaolack for the first leg, second leg in Bur, and the third leg in Dakar in Koloban. And we came straight back to the bridge for the inauguration. So we were very busy. We couldn't be here. But Kerr really provided fantastic coverage of the opening of the bridge. And that's where we will start today, because it was a very, very, very big story, both in Gambia and Senegal and around the world. And different people said different things about it. You know, starting from the name that Barrow gave to the bridge, and then of course the ever-present Senegalese Gambian sentiments about actually whose interest does it serve in. So, Mustafa, you are from Baribo. Definitely, you must have something pleasant or something exciting about the bridge.
First of all, has he been on the bridge? Did you cross from there?
I actually have, because when I was coming from, after attending my father's burial, I spent, I think, 3 days there. When I was coming, I came
through Kiang.
Trans-Gambia. Well, you could say through Kiang. But I didn't go there because of Kiang. I went there to see the bridge.
But you were able to come back same day without having to worry whether you will miss the ferry in Bara.
Absolutely. And you know, it was quite fast. And I've seen a lot of people would actually, instead of going to Bara now, a lot of people who are living here to go to Bali. If you have your own car, it's actually fast going through that bridge than through Bara.
Even if you don't have your own car.
Yeah. It's still faster.
So what do you make of the whole concept? And then of course the name, the controversial topic was, why should anyone call it Senegambia Bridge?
Name, I will leave that to Nyima. But the concept, I don't want to speak about the name because I have an obvious answer for it. Maybe Nyima would differ. I don't think it should be Senegambia. We have a lot of names in this country to name it after. You know, this is our bridge. Senegal has nothing to do with it. My other thing is, I think it's a good thing that we have a bridge, because if you look at the intra-Africa trade and intra-regional trade, we are hovering somewhere around 12% Africa intra-Africa trade, and something about 8 or 9% intra-regional trade. That's abysmally low. And you could say that Gambia trades more with China, UK, than it does with Senegal or Nigeria.
But is that not because
or Mali?
No, is that not because the goods Gambians consume are mainly are not available?
No, there are many factors. Many factors. There are many goods. There are many.
If I want an electronic watch, a smartphone, I can get it from Senegal. It has to come from China.
Incredibly, there are a lot of things that Gambians consume that are produced in Mali. Incredible number of things that, like for instance, the tube, the tie and dye, the batiks we consume in the Gambia are exceptionally made in Mali. Exceptional ones are made in Mali.
Yeah, and they're known to be a tube
and we do bring them in.
Yeah.
We import a lot of dairy products and animal products and sheep, things like that. We take them from other countries that are close to us, but there are other agricultural products too that are in abundance in other countries that we could import in our own countries. You understand? But what African countries facilitates is not import to an equally African country, but an import to a Western country, an export to a Western country. That's what we largely facilitate.
Okay,
but like for instance, you can say people in countries that are close to us will definitely not need groundnuts. They may need groundnut. But Africa has not invested this idea of intra-trade. Because one, we don't even have good road networks among us.
Good.
Transportation, you travel wide in Africa. Even to have a flight that goes from one African country to another African country, it's a problem.
It's more easy to go to Europe and back than go to a neighboring African country.
So a project like Trans-Gambia facilitates this connection that Africa could rely on for intra-trade.
So
in that light, it's a good thing.
It's not out of place for this bridge to be built, even though people have this narrow, nationalism that the bridge in fact serves Senegal more than us. And over the last 40 years, successive governments have dragged their feet on the concept. So now the Jabra, for example, did not really warm up to the bridge.
What do you think in the first place about the name?
Before we move on to the name, I just want to elaborate a little bit on what you said about the intersection between having the bridge and having an increase in trade. I don't think it is going to have any significant effect on intra-trade between Senegal and Gambia, because like Lamin Chan said, there are other factors that are even more prominent in terms of why African countries are not trading among themselves. Road network is one of those, but also we are all producing the same kind of products that we are not even producing in large amounts to be able to export to African countries. Most of what Gambia produce and most of what Senegal produce need to be manufactured again to produce something different from what we have, and that can only be achieved outside. And I think that's the reason why most African countries export their produce outside of the African continent, because the other countries may not need it. But when it comes to the naming, this is interesting. The people who said that it should have been Trans-Gambia rather than Senegambia are looking at Macky Sall's interests in this whole thing. The fact that the Senegalese election is looming, and the fact that the bridge is not completely ready and it has to be launched, as if we have to do that to favor Macky Sall and his political ambition. I think that's where the controversy is coming from. But Senegambia is not necessarily a bad name either. The bridge also symbolizes Senegal and Gambia integration. Because when you look at it, most of the people who are going to benefit from this, especially are people from Casamance. I was in Casamance last week, and one of our colleagues who came from Dakar to Casamance came through the Senegambia bridge. Although they were not able to use the bridge because boats were still sailing there. But he expressed his happiness about the fact that now the time that they're going to use to travel from Dakar to Casamance is going to be condensed. And Gambians are also using it. The congestion at Barra is going to be reduced. But the symbolization of the Senegambia integration is what the BRICS signifies. And if you look at it from that perspective, I think the name is very befitting. And I also have seen this coming from, I think, one of the international media who equates it to Trump's idea of establishing a wall between the US, Mexico and the US to show that in this present generation we don't need walls, we need bridges. And bridges are a symbolization of bringing people together.
So if I hear both of you well, there is nothing wrong in the building of the bridge, because if anything it enhances regional and continental integration.
Absolutely.
Swift movement is necessary for economic growth.
But a lot more needs to be done in that area, because when the bridge was built, it facilitated trade in a larger scale.
Yes.
But it also undermines trade in some ways, businesses in some ways, in that a lot of businesses that were built around, around the bridge are dying.
Well, you know,
a lot of stalls are now closed.
Somebody would say,
a lot of stalls have closed.
But somebody would say,
and they've moved.
But the thing
a lot of businesses.
But
that's one side the media refused to look at.
Isn't it premature to reach such a conclusion?
Well, but they have closed already.
Listen, the African Development Bank, according to their program about this, they said they have what they call corridors to the bridge, the North and the South Bank.
Yes.
And I think it includes not just the
building of markets,
not just the roads, but building of markets.
Absolutely.
Now, so isn't it going to be fair that these people who now obviously have to pack up because people will not stand long around there, may themselves be, be in some way compensated through the provision of stores.
Yeah, but in that case, you don't put a horse a cart before the horse.
No, but I think what we're witnessing now is that the need for the trade that used to exist may no longer be there, but new needs will arise, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah. So it is those new needs that you look into, and you have smart business people who will venture into that.
If we will have smart business, my idea is, the market should have come before the bridge, so that when people close their stores around the bridge, so that when people close their stores around the bridge, they move to the market.
I don't think it works that way.
But it has to work that way, because
no. Every business that is being established is established to provide solutions to a particular need.
Yes.
If the need is there, obviously businesses will spend.
Yes. So now the point is,
I think for me, the businesses come after.
Now they are coming to build a bridge, and because the building
whole project is to put a bridge across that water for people to cross.
Yeah.
That is the project.
Yeah.
All the sideline issues for
and the unintended consequences also need to have been taken care of before, because Gambia is not new to this. Remember that when Gambia built the bridge on Barra, on Kerawan, the businesses that were there had died completely.
Yeah, but listen.
Kerawan had changed from a fairly booming settlement into a totally, it was a disaster. All the businesses that were around, that were centered around the river in Kerawan had died. That is bad for the economy. Now, what we need to do is not to kill businesses, and this can be done. But we will have to create a place where businesses will move before we build the bridge.
Now listen,
that's my understanding.
Let me tell you something.
Now look at the volume of business that you're talking about around that bridge. I mean, it's negligible compared to what I would.
But they don't have to die.
Let me tell you what can happen at the bridge. Let me tell you what can happen at the bridge in terms of investment, in terms of building. In other countries, when people are on a long journey, at every few hours, you have a resting area where you have coffee shops, you have restaurants, you have gift shops, right? So here at this bridge, you have people traveling all the way from Dakar to Casamance. What smart business owners can do is to see this as an opportunity to venture into. Build your coffee shops, build a space where people can rest after a very long journey, build gift shops where when people who are traveling through the bridge can buy from the Gambia.
I think, Mustafa,
to take to their families. This is an opportunity that people can venture into.
Unfortunately, that's not happening because people are.
But it's very new.
Listen now, if I look at the situation of Tendala, this place, I look at the type of business that you are calling business. I mean, it's negligible. I mean, what I see there is people with stalls, unkept restaurants. I hardly eat at that place because the one I didn't see any sanitary. I mean, there's no sanitary facility there. I hardly eat food at that place. I maybe buy a towel or something.
If we can keep them,
now,
do they have to die? That's the question.
Now, if the project is telling you that they're going to build the corridors on both banks by providing roads and a market, I think that make all this more sense in the world than keeping these people there, you know, until you build
those small businesses so that when these people move out of their stores, they go to the market.
They will eventually.
But the market is not built.
Yeah, but what we need to do now.
That is the opportunity. What do they call it? Opportunity cost.
That is what I am saying. I am not disagreeing. I am merely saying build the market first before the bridge. So that when people move out of their stores around the bridge, they move into the market.
But how many stores?
That's basically what I am saying.
How many stores are you talking about?
We are talking about dozens of stores. Dozens.
Okay, now, I agree that there are people who...
And the disaster is media refused to see this.
No, not that media refused to.
Media refused to see it because media didn't.
There were a few cases that people... In fact, what should have been better if they had organized themselves at that lunch and came out and said, well, of course, we all welcome the bridge, but our business will be taken out of existence. What is there for us? And it was said by the minister that they're going to make both banks a corridor, and that will exist a market and good roads. So those people who are there now, who have been there, should be taken into consideration when that market is built. That, I think, is more important than to say, well, the bridge is going to take out a few dozen stores, so it should wait until the market is built and then the bridge. Anyone idea is the bridge, not the market.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Since you both agreed that the name should have stayed Trans-Gambia, did I hear you well?
I didn't agree. I mean,
Senegambia is not bad.
Senegambia is not bad if you think about how what it symbolizes.
I would
really.
have named it maybe Edward.
I don't think it would matter.
I heard from the new leadership of the PPM that it should have been
something.
But don't we already have enough?
I think it's the motive that people question. It's not the name itself. I think it's the motive. I would question the motive more so than the name itself.
I don't think the motive. I think the Senegal. If we are thinking of integration, there cannot be a better name like Senegambia.
Yeah.
Because of course, you know.
Yeah. Other people are also worried that we take the Senegambia more seriously than the Senegalese. Like we have so many Senegambia in the Gambia, we don't have any of those in Senegal. But for me, I don't think that's a big issue.
Why must Gambia always come after Senegal? Why does it have to always be Senegal?
No, but we found this historically.
That sounds better.
That doesn't sound better.
No, it's not contemporary.
And then we only have 3 letters of Gambia in the world.
And you know, we have always been Senegambia too.
We are treated like a province.
Unreasonably.
I am never comfortable with it because if you talk to me about history and historical relations, Bissau and Gambia are the same as Senegal and Gambia.
No, I think Senegal.
Guinea Conakry and Gambia are the same as Mali and Gambia is the same as all.
But there existed the name Senegambia.
There never existed a kingdom or an empire called Senegambia.
No, there was a whole region called Senegambia before, the Greater Senegambia.
There was a Greater Senegambia.
Which Greater Senegambia?
It encompasses a whole lot of countries, including Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Mali, parts of Mali,
that must have been colonial. There was never
it was pre-colonial. It was not a kingdom. It was a whole region. It was not a kingdom.
Let's move on. So we did not agree that the bridge should be called Senegambia. Oh, I think in the name of communication, Senegambia. You see, what we define is how we interpret the Senegambia means. The bridge serves Gambia first before Senegal. The bridge puts North and South Bank together. In the same way, Senegal, which is completely divided by the Gambia into two, also benefit from the bridge by crossing from the north to the south.
For a start, no one disagrees.
So just to put it generally, it's a Gambian bridge. And then the president of Senegal made that clear that this is a Gambian bridge. And it was only through the goodwill of the government of the day and the people that the bridge was built. So I think that's very clear. He said, he gave all credit to the bridge, to the Gambian people. I mean, what happened 40 years ago, it couldn't happen. Because the Jawara was not agreed. Gambia initially attended, but so towards the end of his regime, he dragged his foot about it. This whole idea has been enrolled in politics, and like it was like a storm. If Senegal-Gambia relationship is going very well, it progresses. If it deteriorates, it stops. So I think it is really worthy of achievement for both countries and for Africa that the bridge is built. But then, who owns it as what the name? I don't think it's important. It's a Gambian bridge. It's got to be told. All the monies that are going to be collected there are coming to the Gambia. So it's a Gambian bridge. Now, since we last appeared on the Brunch, there have been a major development in politics. There has been a new political party calling themselves GAP.
Yep. Filling in the gap.
Action Party, is it?
Gambia Action Party.
And Mr. Bachelor. What do you know about the party, or Mr. Bachelor in particular? And what kind of idea or ideology do you think they would bring that would be different from from those who exist?
I don't think you want to hear my view of Bachelor. I think Njie would.
Why?
That's
why we're here.
So I don't know much about this Bachelor guy, except that he was part of the GDC at some point and then resigned from the party. Is that the correct information that I'm giving out? And now he's setting up his own party. I mean, I think this is, for me and for most of the Gambian people, he's just like a new person on the political scene that has so much to conquer, to give recognition for himself and for his party. And so far, other than just announcing that there's a new party, I'm not seeing any more efforts being made towards that direction.
Well, they said tomorrow they will face the
Well, my first impression, my first impression, the time I met Bachelor first was at IEC, and he was there. I was after the 2016 election. He was there as an observer for the GDC, and it was on that day, in fact, that I made my first impression known to Sekou Jambe about Bachelor. And it turns out, I mean, things that I said to Sekou, symptoms of such came when Bachelor actually had a problem with GDC. I've not found him to be very trustworthy. I've seen him to be I would not vote for him.
Connie?
I don't think he's one of those who are doing business, not politics.
I think the bottom line is he's not different.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
From majority of our political leaders.
He's not different. So
I think he's more or less the same.
So you don't think there are very wild speculations that the party could in fact be a proxy to
the borough. I've heard about that.
Look, even if the party is a proxy, the basic and the bottom line is, I have known Bachelor through people who actually worked with him, people through whom he has raised funds, and they told me categorically, some of these people, I mean, we sit, they are based outside the country, and they know Bachelor. And even before he had problem with GDC, and when he had problem with GDC, his own version of the story and GDC's version of the story, we later learned that his version of the story was incorrect. So what GDC said was the correct one. I cannot trust people who are not men of words, their own words. So
yeah, I think another important question we can ask is, does he have a chance, or does he has a chance? Like, where is his political base? It's almost non-existent.
That's what I'm saying. With the what kind of ideology will he come, and where do you think these ideas will be receptive?
Well, he is more or less like our everyday politician. I've interacted with him, and our everyday politician who knows nothing beyond the ordinary, beyond what all of us know. Like, if you ask even me, who doesn't have a political party or knows nothing, I would tell you, well, we need to focus on youth unemployment. We need to. These are things that everybody knows. These are things that anybody can say. These are things you also say.
You know, to be fair with them, we follow them and listen to them in their very first public appearance, which will be tomorrow, Sunday. We are told.
Well, I have no problem with the party. I'm just telling you my impression of the individual who apparently is leading the party. With all honesty.
Now, to wrap up this. That has been in the newspapers, of course, is the TRRC, the beginning of it, because since we last got carried away, it hadn't started. Now, the first session we are told ended, and quite frankly, there has been very emotional and dramatic revelations at the commission. How did you receive, for example, the testimonies of Chongan, Tijan Toure, Bine Minte, Alaji Kante, Ibrahim Kambi, Bach Samba Jallo, Honorable Omar Jallo Oje, etc., etc. Is this what the whole nation was expecting when we were talking about the TRRC? And when you look to the future, what kind of feelings are you having that these testimonies may have?
You want to try that first?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't think anything has been said there that looking at the bigger picture surprises anybody. I think it's the details of what people were expecting that was shocking. Like, we all know torture had happened, we all know unlawful detentions had happened, we all know people were killed and people were psychologically tortured, but we didn't get the details. And now when these people narrate their audios, we get to know exactly what happened. The small details of what happened is really shocking. Like, you would never expect that a Gambian, somebody that you have sat on the same table with and ate with, would have done something like that.
Which one particularly moved you emotionally?
Which one?
Bachsamba?
I think the Bachsamba, yeah. The Bachsamba case was...
for a lot of people. I was not speaking for myself.
Exactly, yeah. Because I've never watched the TRRC sitting to a point where I would hear people say, oh, this was so emotional, I cried. My mother told me she cried with this man, really. And
a lot of people
really say that.
You were not,
and also, I think what makes his case a bit different from all of them is that those who, I mean, apart from O.J. Jallo, those who came to give testimonies were once part of the coup plotters themselves.
Yeah, I was coming there before.
And he was an ordinary person, a normal citizen doing his thing. We don't know why he would be handpicked by the junta.
So you could understand all the people who were initially involved in the coup and who later fell victim to the very system that they created. Yeah. You could understand their plight, but this one had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Primary school headmaster.
Yeah,
but
ridiculously abnormal.
Let me take you a little bit back. I mean, the commission tried to first establish the circumstances or failures, what led to the coup. I think that was interesting because we had initially that, in fact, the guy whose name came to be synonymous with the coup and who claimed to take all the credit was not, in fact, initially.
So for me, that's the most interesting
thing. Not a little bit?
For me, the most interesting thing about the TRRC, it's not the revelations of torture or crime or anything. For me, it's this basic thing it's doing. It's redefining Njie in a most perfect context. It's telling us who Njie is, like bare naked. For me, that's the most important thing I've seen coming out of TRRC. I mean, this chief imam who is rooted in secrecy, you know, it's the guy who is very religious. When Njie narrates the account of July 22nd, 1994, he would tell you when we got to the bridge, I just disarmed them. It's as if some ghost appear from nowhere and come and disarm everybody.
And each testimony is discrediting that.
Yes, and each testimony tells us that this guy was like an everyday human being. It's not like a god or that giant
I have a different perspective. I don't think the initial testimony said so much about Njie as an individual. I think what we are seeing is I think what we are seeing here is what really went wrong. Like, how do we even get to this point? Like, when people were narrating their audios, we get to see that there were institutional failures. We get to see that our politics was not the way that it was supposed to bring people together. People didn't really see themselves in the governance process. So we are seeing all the situations that could happen that can lead to kind of dictatorship that we had in the past. And I think this is also giving testimony to the fact that we really need to work on our institutions to strengthen them, but also to make sure that people really understand what governance is about and to see themselves in it. And so that all the other things that used to happen under Jawara's regime that have led to so much discontent, especially with the army, to a point where some of them feel they need to take things into their own hands, need to be averted in the future.
What about the nature of the testimonies? Apparently, a few of them have got replies suggesting that they were either out of context or fabricated, or Halifa Sallah or Doi perhaps was insisting that he had now given up. I'm not sure that he should appear with Muhammad Cham, a witness, to say. And do you think he was taking those out? He was playing it too much, or do you think he deserved to be had by the commission at that very moment?
I mean, Halifa was doing it too much. I mean, even those who support him, they just can't come out to say, this is not right. They just don't know how to say it. But Halifa was being ridiculous.
So you mean he could have highlighted what as he did?
Truth Commission cannot, under any circumstances, bring Salah on to cross-examine anybody. He's not the lead counsel. If Salah is a Truth Commission, in fact, testimonies of Truth Commission, individual testimonies are weak. It's not like when anybody comes and say anything, it's taking as a gospel truth. You come and say it, this is an investigation. So commission will eventually get to the truth. And let's go into the specific of Salah's statements. The first one was in response to Muhammad Cham. What Muhammad Cham said that angered Salah was that Salah and Uncle Sam, Samuel Sam, understand why we call him Uncle Sam. We are all in the media and everybody calls him Uncle Sam.
The editor of Doi.
Yes. So the point is, what Cham said was that Salah and Samuel Sal got late for an appointment.
That would have made them
ministers. But who was Muhammad Cham? Muhammad Cham was not part of the junta. He was, in fact, against the coup based on his testimonies, and later, by the circumstances,
was made minister himself.
He had no choice, he joined. That is his own account. But, come to think of people whose testimonies itself on the commission contradicted what Muhammad said. Abubakar Jen. Abubakar Jen was a secretary to the junta. Abubakar Jen said Salah rejected the cabinet position outright. Aladi Kante, a member of the junta, said Salah rejected the position outright.
So
what is the point?
What is Salah's concern?
Salah's concern had been addressed completely. Before, in fact, there is another third point. Salah himself had made, the letter he sent to the junta was published on newspapers. So all that Salah needed to do was to say, Mr. Muhammad Cham, I don't have any response for you.
Because this has happened.
The people who matters did say what I did. And also, let me remind you of this letter. He copied the link and just pasted it.
Even that would have done it.
That would have done the rest.
But insisted that he
But insisting on coming to cross-examine a witness
was too much.
That was just way before. And the second one is the one against OJ.
Okay, now, OJ, that's Salah again.
That's Salah again.
But this time he did not insist he will appear.
No, but he
responded.
I think he...
What was a short one?
Now, here's the thing. This is what I think about this. I mean, this is going to be very unpleasant. I was truly, truly disappointed with Halifa Sallah, with what he's doing. Now, here's the thing. It is not about how things happen. It was about what happened, right? According to Halifa Sallah, based on Ahmad Cham's testimony, Muhammad Cham's testimony, according to Halifa Sallah, he was visited by people other than Cham in his office. At his office.
At Foraya.
At Foraya, right? According to Halifa Sallah, he said he was going to think about it. It was Sam who rejected outright.
Yes.
Right?
He told them
these people,
communicated
Cham's testimony, what Cham witnessed was from the people who came to visit Halifa Sallah. Obviously, Cham was not present on what Halifa Sallah said or what he did. What Cham could have been privy to is the fact that Halifa said he was going to think about it, and a deadline was put up. and they didn't show up until the deadline elapsed.
Yes.
This is an accurate information from his perspective.
Yes.
Also, when people are giving testimonies of facts that have happened so long ago, obviously they are going to remember
Very few will have
how things happen exactly.
Memories.
Exactly.
So it was
But everybody's testimony is going to be different.
You
Only
didn't find any trouble with Cham's testimony?
I did not find any trouble with Cham's testimony. I don't think it was an outright lie. Also,
so
you
Cham
have to
was
also
not implying that Halifa, had he not been late, he would have taken the cabinet.
I don't think
that would have been the that's the impression. Maybe
that's the impression. Maybe he would have.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the case. I don't think that was his.
Already.
Yeah.
Good. Now let's put it this way.
I'm not done though.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that was what happened. His motive was, for me, was very genuine. Also, it was never about Khalifa Saleh accepting or not accepting. The fact that it is how it happened. That's what he is arguing over. And the second one also was how it happened. You were arrested. That is the bottom line. Yeah. As OJ was arrested. Yeah. You were offered a job. You didn't take it. Yeah. Whether it was based on a deadline or not, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Now, here is the thing. Every TRRC succeeds when people accept it to be truthful. Yeah. If Khalifa Saleh is coming to throw in jabs in everybody's testimony, he is doing the opposite. And as a public figure, people really have trust in this guy. It is his responsibility to hold to the values of the TRRC.
He's somebody who's been very jealous of his reputation and his credibility. If he sees that some testimonies are really distorting history, that he's very obsessed with.
This is not his testimony.
It is not about him.
Remember, he's very obsessed with telling history as it is. He doesn't like anybody.
But that's what it means to be dictatorial.
The point is, this is not about him, and he is making it all about him. That's the point.
Now, it's not only him who raised issues. I mean, even the victims and the president was so concerned. Last week he was saying that the witnesses have to be truthful. Now listen, it was not only Khalifa. The present advisor of President Barrow in terms of security, Colonel Mamadou Badji, said he was said to have been present when Basiru Barrow was been killed, and for all intents and purposes, at the time he was commissioner, then they called him commissioner in Mansakonko. He wondered how he could have been present.
Well, the glass man, as I fondly call him, that's the anonymous witness before the Truth Commission, did not say he was there.
What did he say?
He said he was reliably informed.
That he was there.
That Babukar Jatta was there.
Not Babukar Jatta,
Babukar Jatta, Babukar Jatta, Colonel Babukar Jatta, and Mahmoud Baji were there. That's what he said. He said he was reliably informed.
But Mahmoud
Baji, so he didn't say he was there. So Mahmoud Baji coming out. Yeah, but Mahmoud Baji came out to say he was not there.
Yeah.
So but for me, this is a normal account of events. People will disagree.
It will happen.
People like Mahmoud investigating.
If you have been implicated, obviously people would want to hear your side of the story.
Absolutely.
If Khalifa Saleh feels he's been implicated, he can apply to appear
before the commission
as a witness to give his own testimony.
He wanted to appear immediately before.
He wanted confrontation. It shouldn't have been a give your own account.
Before the commission.
Give your own account of how things happen.
He turned down the offer to appear
before the commission.
That is what I am saying.
Okay.
Now that is what he should not even have done.
But even now,
the problem
was supposed to be witness.
Khalifa is not an everyday person. Khalifa is an elder statesman in the Gambia and also a political figure that has so much respect and so much following. So now the point is, Khalifa is a creator of this same institution he's talking about. It's his responsibility to ensure that he succeeds, not otherwise. So now the point is, when testimonies come before the Truth Commission, Saleh should be tame enough to allow the commission to investigate. The commission, what appears before the commission, it's not a gospel truth. It's a testimony of an individual expressed as an opinion, which is going to be investigated. And these testimonies are collected and investigated to reach a particular conclusion. So it's not like it's a gospel truth.
All right.
Even what OJ said, Saleh's main problem was not what OJ said. I think what Saleh did not say and wanted to say was that he felt it. He was jealous.
He was jealous of what?
I think so.
What?
I think the problem was... No. I was before the commission and I look at the subtext. There is something called the subtext, what is not said.
Yes.
Now the problem is, OJ said Saleh and Hamad Ba were taking to the remand wing
Yeah.
while he was taken to the security wing. Now, what that insinuated was that not what that insinuated was that
got a lighter treatment.
Exactly.
And
That Salah was not much of a problem for Njie. So, you know, he took me to a security wing, have me tortured and all that.
Oh,
Salah didn't like that.
So you mean this is what Salah didn't like?
Didn't like that. And, you know, the lead counsel at that point stopped him and said, well, so that means, in short, the gladiator was being taken to the lion's den. And then OJ laughed. That was OJ's moment. So let the guy enjoy it.
Okay, OJ took the platform. And you know,
so OJ smiled and said, you can say that.
At this time. But don't you think the politicians will continue to make political capitals?
Of course, and that was OJ's moment.
You
can't ruin that for
he
him.
appeared on that platform, he won a lot of admiration.
That is what I am saying.
For me, what I see happening here is war of egos. Like all of these people who appear, apart from Batsamba, they want to redeem themselves, they want to appear as superheroes. I've gone through all of this trouble, but here I am. Khalifa Saleh doesn't have that opportunity, or he refused to take on that opportunity. And now he feels like people are, I mean, he feels, Khalifa, we know who Khalifa is, the superhero of the Gambia. I have great respect for this guy. Don't cut me off.
To something that really will also rekindle people's mind about the two men. You remember it back in the 80s.
But that was totally unnecessary, wasn't it?
They were political opponents. He contested against OJ in Serekunda all the time. They were political opponents at the time. And he mentioned in later that OJ perhaps always regarded him as a political opponent.
Yes. I know.
But it was not only Khalifa who had issues with OJ's testimony. The military. I have very good information that the military were not happy with the fact that he said it's only in the Gambia that people get into the army.
I was not happy with that either.
Education. I read Samsidin Sar, this time the former soldier, who was also very much against those things. So, do you think OJ really...
I have no respect for Samsidin Sar. He is not a soldier.
Well, no, not just Samsidin.
Samsidin is just some guy.
Samsidin actually was a very good soldier.
Maybe he was never a good soldier.
No, you did not agree with his...
But he was never a good soldier.
He was.
I mean, you've seen what Samsidin did when his colleagues were... I mean, Samsidin had ever been a coward. That's not a soldier. A soldier takes death when it comes.
Now listen. Samsidin had been in the army. He was among the, let's say, come on, one of the best, brilliant.
No, Samsidin was some guy who was good with flash.
No, I was not happy with that assertion myself,
okay,
because
now,
what this guy did.
This is not Samsidin. Others in the military did not come openly, though, but I had sources that they were not happy all you described in the Gambian army at the time.
Well, apparently you have someone who don't agree with them either.
Okay, now here you are. Was Oye not actually out of context when he said the military? I mean, what the soldiers interpreted was, and the government of the PPP had really, took the military so content that they brought in foreign troops to lead them, etc., etc.
And I think they were right. Well,
that's
we have seen it expressed through OJ.
Was it?
That is very true.
Right?
I think OJ shot himself on the foot.
Yeah.
What OJ said, my reaction was, that was your responsibility. That it was their responsibility as a government to build a professional, disciplined army. They didn't do that. What OJ said, he said he has problem with the army, the Gambian army were indisciplined. He said a whole lot of things about it. And then he said they lacked education. And then he said we had to rely on the Senegalese soldiers because they were disciplined. The Senegalese soldiers were built and disciplined by an entity, the version of which OJ was a part of.
Yes.
They had the responsibility and they failed on that responsibility, and now he wants to pin that on somebody else. That's what happened. When he said that, my reaction was, but it was your responsibility to build a professional, disciplined army. You didn't do it. So who are you going to blame for that?
But now, what do you make of the nature now of the testimonies and the witnesses? The famous unidentified witness, for example.
I call him the glass man.
The glass man. What do you make of his testimony and the very nature of it? Do you think if we continue to have this kind of... Because people are wondering, well, what is the point of somebody coming now and saying very, very interesting things, but we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know who this person is.
But
well, I think it's a normal procedure.
That's a no. Yeah, we are going to see those things happening.
We're going to see some of those things happening because I can tell you, look, if Edward Singate appears before the commission right now and is telling you how he tears down someone or shoots someone, and everybody knows it's Edward before the commission.
Why do you
trust me? Security.
Why do you say Edward? Because he was
no. I'm just giving an example. You may need the entire Yundum barracks to come and secure the commissioner. People will come in like.
Yeah. I think that's a normal procedure. We're going to have people who would want to testify
but for
in
example,
camera.
people like Modu Bali wanted to know the past. He said the man would say something else.
Look,
he wanted to know.
I mean, it's not about who said. For me, it's not about who said what. It's about what is being said. Yeah. If you have a problem with what is being said, or you feel you have been implicated, but it's a normal procedure. Lamin, when I'm not done talking, don't cut me off because you're cutting off my ideas.
If I know who's talking, probably help me believe in the story.
No, the thing is, it's not a personal confrontation. I don't need to know that Mustafa said I was involved in something. I just need to know that somebody said I was involved in something. Now what I can do is either to be invited to the commission or to apply to be invited to the commission to give my own version of how things happen. Because that's a normal procedure everywhere.
Why Mohammed was so uneasy was because this is a threat to his job.
That's
he is serving.
That's
yes.
obvious.
As well as Mohammed Cham.
And yes, Mohammed Cham.
Yeah.
And no, Mohammed Baji. And the biggest problem he had was that he was in charge of the security sector reform.
Yes.
How could someone who is implicated in November 11 be in charge, reform the problem he was in the first place part of? In the first place part of. And Mohammed, even when he is not part of November 11, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to argue that he was never part of Gambia.
One thing or the other.
He was part of it in some ways. I mean, this is our this is Barrow's biggest problem.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So we can.
Now, to wrap up, of course, they said they are going to look at, in this next session will be November 11. Can we expect even more harrowing stories? Because that's the period in their administration of the AFA's junta where the most serious atrocities were supposed to have been committed.
With the exception of the migrants.
Well, I'm saying AFPRC
one of execution.
I'm talking about AFPRC
the school kids, don't
not
forget.
AFPRC regime.
Oh yeah,
April 2000.
I'm talking about the AFPRC junta, not the AFPRC
junta.
regime. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think at this point we will be happy to introduce that we have a special guest, as we always do, and he's going to be the Gambian chapter of the Global Youth Enterprise Network. What is GYNS mean? Gambia, rather Global Youth Innovation Network. GYNS, the Gambian chapter.
We have entrepreneurs.
But we have a break before that, and that should be the entrepreneur. I guess now every edition of the program we profile a Gambian who has sort of a business for economic growth and employment. And in this section today, we meet a Gambian by the name Fenda Singate. Or Fenda Singate. Fenda. In my part of the Gambia, we'll say Fenda, not Fenda. Fenda Singate of Pipeline. He's here of Fenda's Closets, who's making a name for herself in fashion designing and modesty. So, modesty, let's have Fenda Singate.
My name is Fenda Singate. I am a Gambian. I live in Pipeline. I am 26 years old. I graduated from SOS Hamad Minor Senior Secondary School and later did IT at QuantumNet Institute of Technology. And I also studied business management at IBC. I am married and I am a hijab designer. I can say I faced much challenges because there were helps. So my mom helped me since I started wearing it. At first I was sewing it for myself. When I sew it and wear it, people like it. Then they started telling me, Fenda, why not you just take this as your career? So I talked to my mom. My mom said, okay, it's fine, then you can do it since you have people who can help you, who will buy your sewing, then who will also come bring their materials you sew for them. Then why not I just buy you a machine? So my mom bought me a small machine. I started from there. Then later, my husband saw that I can do this, so he decided to help me. Then that is how I started. It's an inheritance from my grandmother to my mother, and I later decided to do it. But what pushed me into it the most is when I started wearing the hijab. Well, since I'm a hijab designer, I do design all the hijab outfits, like loose abayas, baggy pants, jumpsuits, loose outfits. Females. I have two employees, one female and one male, and they're both youths. I wish to have a bigger place where I can employ more youths and also have my own website, yes, where I can display my designs and also where people can make orders. My shop is at Pipeline, MDI Road, just the Action Aid Junction. My number is 3721712, and you can locate me on Facebook at Fender's Closet and on Instagram as well at Fender's Closet, and also my email at fendersingate57@yahoo.com. The number is 3721712.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered.
Welcome back. Well, that was a look at the entrepreneur of the week, and I can say that was Fender Singate, the CEO of Fender's Closet, who lives in fashion designing and modesty. Welcome back to the brunch. I'm Njie, sitting in for Joy Mama. Did I say where Joy was? She is at the moment, as we present this program, graduating from the University of the Gambia. Did I get that correct? So she couldn't be here. Now we move on to our special guest. I mentioned Edrisa. He is the head of the Gambian chapter of Global Youth Innovation Network called Njie, Gambian chapter. Before anything, Mr. Introduce yourself and tell us what Njie means. I mean, Njie has been very busy in this country, particularly. Papa Edrisa Njie. Who is Papa Edrisa?
Thank you so much. I am Mamadou Edrisa Njie,
Wow.
Executive Director of the Global Youth Innovation Network, Njie Gambia chapter. And Njie is an international network with its head office in USA. And in the Gambia, we have the chapter at Churchistown, and we operate from Monday to Friday and also Saturday and Sunday when we have assignments to work on. So basically, that is Njie.
Now, what is the network actually targeting to achieve around the globe? You remember, it's a global network, Gambian chapter. In which areas do you operate? For example, you into entrepreneurship or skill training or providing small-scale business for Gambian youth, etc.?
Yes, the network is supported by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD.
Yes.
And if you could recall, in 2011, from the 8th to the 11th of October, we were in Cotonou, Benin,
and
to
I was
run
privileged
the
to
network. Exactly, you were privileged to be part of that launching. So the network focuses on agribusiness programs, entrepreneurship programs, and also ICT programs, supporting young people, particularly those in the rural areas. Because IFAD intervention globally focuses on women and youth. And their focus and also their intervention areas is how to overcome poverty in rural regions. So basically, as a network that is supported by a UN agency that is IFAD, we are also looking at entrepreneurship in rural areas. We are looking at agribusiness in the rural areas. We are also looking at ICT in the rural areas, as well as our latest program that is providing mentorship program to young people in the rural areas. Because when we talk about entrepreneurship, we have a good number of young people who are in rural areas and they have very fantastic business ideas, but who will validate or unlock their potential becomes an issue. So it is based on that we are looking at that area, and since 2012, up to date, we have helped to upscale a good number of rural enterprises, as well as to create some rural enterprises with focus on agro enterprises.
Which means agriculture.
Yes, which means agriculture, because we surely focuses on agriculture. And even ICT that we are engaging young people into, we looked at how they use the social media to promote their own agro products. And also how can they use the social media for them to advertise their products and services that they have related to agro products. So basically, these are some of the things that we are doing in the rural area, linking ICT with agriculture.
Now, how do a young Gambian get into your program or your activities? Does Njie's global chapter just send money here and say, Edrisa and your Gambian chapter, give this money to Nima Kamara in Korea village or Mustafa in Sarikenya? How do they get in Korea?
That's very interesting. Basically, we don't operate like that. All the funds that we got in the country and globally is through a competitive process. We work with the National Agricultural Land and Water Management Development Project, that is NEMA. For one to source or for them to give you funding to do your programs, once you have to work on a concept note, you submit, and that concept note also have to have some of your impact that you are doing. For example, if you want to organize a Rural Youth Award, if we have to submit a concept note and a budget, it has to be linked to some of our achievements. That is the 2017 award, the 2018 award, and then they will look at it and they have monitoring and evaluation unit. That also make a follow-up to some of the documents that we submitted. And if young people are to benefit from Njie, basically you have to fill a membership form.
Okay.
Once you fill a membership form at a cost of $25, some might say it's very low. Yes, it's very low because we are working with young people who are in rural areas. And according to global reports, some of these rural areas, we have young people who are marginalized. These are young people who doesn't earn much, on daily basis compared to, people like you, for example. And based on that, our membership fee is $25. And our work with the Youth Empowerment Project, it's also a competitive process because you have to submit a concept note and they have to go through the concept note and then they...
That's after filling the form?
Yeah, that's after filling the form. That is for the membership. But for us to access a form, we have to submit concept notes. And even for us to access funds from the CV course, that is at the global level. That one also, they advertise it online, whereby you have more than 4,000 organizations competing for only a small grant. So basically, your impact has to be there. And also understanding what you want to achieve, because these are only not funds, you have them, you implement one program and you are done. No. Some of these reports or activity are followed by donors for a period of sometimes up to 5 years, sometimes up to 10 years. So basically, sourcing funds from the global, sourcing funds globally, nationally, one have to pay much attention on what you can achieve. So basically, that's why at Njie we don't have much programs. We are not into too many activities. We are into activities that we think
are sustainable.
Exactly, are sustainable and can create more income for people in rural areas and also can have an impact on the life of young people.
How many young Gambian entrepreneurs, agri-entrepreneurs are now within the operation within your organization?
Basically, we have about 48 young entrepreneurs, 48 young entrepreneurs who we have supported, and they are into our agribusiness program. Good. We have some who are into poultry, we have some who are into vegetable production, some are into the processing state, and some are even into the marketing state and transportation, where we link them with the agricultural value chain. And we also have some who are into rice production, rice processing, and also marketing of rice. So basically, these are the three components that have created a good number of rural enterprises within Njie operations when it's come to engaging young people into agriculture.
Well, panelists, I think you have now got a basic outline of what Njie means. You also mentioned at the beginning that youth, and particularly women, are
women and youth. Basically, that's our focus area.
So thank you very much for that very good introduction. I am from the rural area as well. We both are, all of us are. Yeah. So
which part of the country?
From Kerr.
Okay, Kerr.
Yeah. So it's important to know that there are organizations supporting our brothers and sisters in those areas. What I want to know, though, is since you have started, what impact have you made in these areas as compared to how things used to be? Because up to this point, we're seeing people moving from the rural areas to the combos where they scramble for work that they do not get eventually. What impact, specific impact, can you tell us?
The specific impact that we have, one, I can give an example of Ablai Drame. Ablai Drame is a young farmer who lives in Gunjur, Berendi. And this Ablai Drame have not been to school, and he have been, in his garden for a period of more than 5 years. But for him to get support from any of the financial institutions in the country was a very big problem for him. And in fact, there was a time he went up to the Department of Agriculture requesting for support. He only needed to get $10,000 to drill a borehole, but that was not possible. But with the intervention of Njie's Rural Youth Award in 2017, where he applied to become, one of the nominees, and finally he became one of the award winners on Young Commercial Farmer of the Year. He was awarded $15,000, and that $15,000 was supported by the NEMA project. And after receiving that $15,000, he first opened a bank account, and after opening that bank account, then he used $10,000 to drill a borehole, because he has a friend who told him that I can help you to drill a borehole even if you give me $10,000. So the blessing comes after receiving the $15,000 award. Then he drilled a borehole, you know, he have water system in his garden. And after having that, you know, water system in his garden, he was also involved in a lot of networking sessions. Like if the Youth Empowerment Project organized session, networking sessions, he participate, and also as well as other partners. So that is one of the impact. And later on, through our mentorship program, he was also able to apply for the YEP mini grant. And after applying for the YEP mini grant, he became a successful candidate. And then he was given 47,000 again to scale up, you know, production and the water system with solar, you know, in his farm. So basically, that is one. And another one also, we have Samendi in Kandongo. Samendi, in those days, in 2013, 2014, he wanted to, you know, venture into poultry farming. He contacted his brother, who is in abroad, to support him with only $15,000 to expand his poultry. His brother told him, no, I cannot give you $15,000. If I give you this, the next day you are in Lampedusa.
You went by back way.
Exactly, you went by back way. So the trust was not there. But after winning Jean's Rural Youth Award, Young Commercial Farmer of the Year 2017 with $15,000, and thanks to the media, it was published on, you know, all the social media platforms that we are, managing, as well as other partners, and also, Gambian online newspapers, as well as the, print and electronic. So he forwarded these links to his brother. And then his brother supported him with extra $25,000.
So the brother is now convinced?
Yeah, his brother was convinced. Because the newspapers will not publish something that is fake about his brother. Yeah. And it is a competition. Before the award, we have been popularizing the award. And when you win it, we also make sure we popularize the, your award that you win, what you want to do. So basically, he also used that amount plus the $15,000 to have another poultry house, whereby today he have more than 500 layers and broilers in his farm. So that is another impact. So these are just few. If I want to continue talking on the impact, so basically we will not have anything to discuss.
Yeah, it's important that we have these real life examples. Yeah.
Exactly.
Back in Benin, when the whole youth movement in the world connected with the kids met there, there was a sample farm called the Songhai, which I had was replicated in the Gambia.
Yes.
And how is how do you work with the Songhai here?
Yes, we have Songhai Gambia initiative.
Okay, you work with them closely?
We work with them closely because the 2018 Rural Youth Award was organized at the Gambia Songhai Initiative Chairman. And the purpose of us organizing the Rural Youth Award in Chairman is for young people to see exactly what their fellow young people are doing, at this center. So basically, it will also serve as a memory for them, or for them also to see agriculture as a prospect, a business for them to venture into. So basically, we have that close relationship, and many at times also when they advertise their forms for young people to enroll in Chairman, Ginas will also apply to be part of it. We have people like Aisa Tusar. She undergone through Chairman Initiative Program, and after the program, she is also into selling of vegetables. We have the people of Mamanding Kajake from Basse. She also went under the same program. So basically, we have a close working relationship with them.
All right, so my question is, you mentioned that you have at least 48 youth entrepreneurs working with your organization. That is just a small fraction of the many youth that are in the country that are not working, that do not have any means of employment. What do you think, based on your observation, based on your experience with the organization, has been the greatest challenge to youth employment in this country? Yeah,
the greatest challenge, one could be access to finance. And also, two could be land ownership. Okay. Basically, these are some of the things that is hindering for a good number of young people to establish their own enterprises. Because what we want is the financial institutions at least to go with 1-digit interest for our young people. And also the agricultural projects also to come up with matching grants of 1% digit. But that is not the case. Many a time the smallest interest rate that we have is 10%. That is the youth empowerment mini loan scheme, which is 10% that they are charging if you are to access that mini loan scheme. But all others is far above that. And also collateral is also a very big challenge for young people to fulfill. One, even if they want to access the agricultural matching grant is a problem for them. And two, if they also want to access finance from these financial institutions or the conventional banks is also a problem for them. So basically, one of the recommendation or solution to the whole problem that we are facing when it's come to access to finance is to have agricultural bank or to have a cooperative bank whereby it will be easy for our young entrepreneurs to have access to finance. But sometimes you also don't blame these banks because for them, many of them, they don't have agricultural experts working in the banks. If they have agricultural experts working in this bank, they will know that agriculture is lucrative and they will invest in agriculture. Because you go to some communities in the Gambia, they work both dry season and rainy season. Yeah. So basically, if you put an heavy investment into agricultural financing, for example, you said rice production, and you go by the rice value chain, that is from production to the transportation, to the processing, and also labeling and packaging. Basically, you can create a lot of direct and indirect jobs because we will have some who will work on the farm with the latest model technologies. Then from there, you have the production side. Then you have a good number of young people who will serve as drivers, unloading and offloading of rice bags to these processing centers. And at the processing centers also, you can have engineers and you can also have operators. That will also create another job for another sector of young people. Then you look at the marketing side of it. Then you have your market outlets. So it's a broad chain. But the conventional banks are not looking into this. All what they see is at the production side. If we don't have a good rainfall, so basically for them they will say, yes, I lost my investment. No, but that is not the case. If you don't have good rainfall, but if you invest in tidal irrigation, so basically that will help you to cover what you lost during the rainy season.
Well, I just ask people who have the impression that Njie perhaps is a provider, like the banks, a provider of funds meant to equip Gambian youths or youths all over the world with funds to be able to invest in agriculture. But you're telling me what you do rather is encouraging and encouraging them and organize competitions among them and fund them for their initiatives recognized.
Yes. No, Njie is not a service provider. We don't have that lancine to provide financial services.
What you do is to encourage.
We are not a financial institution. But many a times people, see us as a service provider. We are not a service provider. We don't have that lancing from the Central Bank of the Gambia. All what we do is to provide services and also come up with initiatives whereby young people can access finance.
Open opportunities.
Exactly, to create that platform, create that opportunity. And the window for whereby young people can access finance. Like if you want to access the NEMA matching grant, you come to the office, we provide some coaching and also mentorship for you, help you develop your business plan, and then you submit it. Then there is possibility to access finance. If you also want loan from Reliance Financial Institution, we provide the same services. But our wish is for us to become a financial service provider whereby we will not be giving thousands or millions, but billions to farmers. Because we want to turn them into billionaires.
So that's the issue now. So you will have to work to convince IFAD to provide such monies.
Yes, basically we are doing that because I am part of the a team of consultants that are developing, designing and formulating NEMA 2. So basically our participation, we are looking at how can young people access finance from these projects.
Exactly.
That one we are doing that very well.
Yeah.
But our
How will
business
you-
was, we have plans whereby we can create direct and indirect jobs.
Yeah.
But how can we get a direct investor sometimes becomes the problem, because they looked into a lot of things. Once your organizational capacity, your organizational strength, and how can you manage, for example, like $15 million, $20 million. So basically these are some of the issues. And for us, we are only a national youth organization. We are not an NGO.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
basically
so
there are certain fundings, it's difficult for us to access it.
Yeah.
Now,
You've
what
named,
about- oh,
yeah, you've named some NGOs or international organizations as being your biggest support. How will you assess the government support to your initiative?
Yeah, the government is supporting our initiatives. Basically, if you looked the funds that we are receiving from the agricultural projects in the Gambia, these projects, they come through negotiations. IFAD is working directly with the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Finance. So basically, they do the negotiation, and once funds are available, then it becomes our own projects. So the government is not giving us money directly per se. We have never received any fund from any ministry to organize a program. But basically, they support us technically.
Is that something you would welcome, or would
Yeah,
even
this is
expect?
something that we will welcome, because there was a time I even said in one of the forums, the government should look at how they can subvent some of the youth organizations as well as farmers organizations working in the country. Because if you go to India and China, these are some of the initiatives that they are working at. So you have government that will have a subvention for a youth organization. They will give them money, and this money, their members will benefit it, and then they will buy materials. And in that way, for it to be sustainable and to be maintained, that organization that benefited from the subvention will also charge 1-digit interest or 2-digit interest. So basically, these are some of the initiatives that we are hoping for, that one day we will also benefit a subvention from government. But many a times, if you talk about subvention, people only think it should be given to government ministries, government department, etc. It doesn't work like that in some countries.
We have a ministry that can directly work with youth organizations.
Yeah, we have Ministry of Youth and Sports. They are working directly with youth organizations. But for us, our reporting is through the National Youth Council, and from the National Youth Council to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And notwithstanding also the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Department of Agriculture, we are also working with them, because many a times when we want to meet the director or we want to develop a program and we need some guidance, some mentoring on how to do our programs, their doors are open, but financially we are not receiving.
Okay, Mr. Njie, your focus, of course, agricultural entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Does it have any link with migration? And if it does, how do you get yourself involved in migration matters? For example, your members were in Europe not long ago, Germany particularly?
Which members?
Your members.
Okay, let me just clarify.
Do you have anything to do with migration?
Yeah, let me just clarify that.
Yeah.
We have some links when it's come to migration,
Yeah,
because if you
tell
look
me.
at the farming trend in this country, a good number of our farmers are above 40. So we don't have a good number of young people into agriculture like the elderly. Okay, so basically, we have some members that moved from rural areas to urban areas for opportunities, and some they even travel through the back way. And I am coming to your point. My members who were in Europe basically is not our member. We don't have many members.
Yeah.
I was in Europe, in Germany, for a visitors leadership program. And that visitors leadership programs looked at the opportunities that are available in Germany and the work that my office is doing. How can I partner with some of them, to support young people in rural areas? So basically, this is some of the things that we are looking at.
So
yes, and when it's also come to migration, my office also did some good work. I have to say that because we are part of organization that help to form returnees from Libya and Niger to an organized group. That is the Youths Against Irregular Migration.
The ones that are already
yes,
here.
that's who are currently here.
Do you have any role in that, or that's a separate?
Yeah, it's a separate organization, but as part of our activities, we have an activity called group formation and management. It is through the group formation and management we form these returnees, into an association. And now they are getting support from the German embassy. They are implementing sensitization programs across the whole country. And we also have another group called Gambian returnees from Backway. For them also, we provide some coaching programs for them, and they are also, an organized group. So basically, these are our involvement when it's come to migration.
Yeah, but when you were in Germany,
yes.
accusations have come out from some quarters that you were there to bring Gambians from Germany to the Gambia, but that's not true, is it?
No, that's not true. We were in Germany simply to learn some of the programs that they are doing that we can replicate. Basically, that was the purpose of my traveling. And it is a visitors leadership program. Even US, they have a similar program.
Yeah.
Okay, so German also they have it, but Gambia have not been benefiting from that program because of the regime that we have. For the past 22 years, that's the dictatorial, regime. So that was why we were not benefiting from such program. So we were the first batch to benefit from that program, and we also made good recommendations that this program should continue because we learned a lot when we were in Germany. But we don't have any hands when it's come to deportation. I don't work for the central government. I work for the civil society organization. And a good number of the people that I travel with, they are from the private sector and the civil society. Because what we are looking at, for me, the area I'm looking at is the civil society participation in agriculture.
Okay. Well, Mustafa, you had a lot about GIN now, their activities.
Yeah,
their
well, I
activities.
could only ask about connection to irregular migration and how GIN's program may help in alleviating this trend. I mean, we are seeing a lot of Gambians now being deported from Europe, and probably the government's intent may be to sort of create an avenue for them so that they don't go back to the streets. I mean, how do you think this could be done?
Basically, I think that component is too big for GIN. Simply because we are a funded organization, and we are funded based on our activities. So for us to address the issue of irregular migration, we have organizations that are working purely on irregular migration activities. But one thing that could also be recommended is we need to put our young people into the skill sector. We need to have a good number of our young people to be skilled on different areas. And in addition to that also, for example, if you have skills when it's come to maybe carpentry or masonry, the list goes on. It also need to have a financing package. And this financing package, if you are a carpenter, you want to establish your own workshop, you should be able to have that finance to establish your own workshop. And once you have your own workshop, the materials that you make, the investors should also be ready to invest in that. Like to have the central government, NGOs, the private sectors, and even individual to buy made in Gambia. So basically, these can be some of the initiatives if we want to address irregular migration.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Edrisa Njie, being our guest today. He is the head of the Gambian chapter of Global Youth Initiative Network, GIN. We will go for a break, and that will be our regular feature, which we call Hotspot of the Week, I hope. hope we're ready. And today, or this week, we will feature Homeway Restaurant. It's on Pipeline Road.
Njie tomu umelete ngo tomu barilet jang somanda nga English breakfast leke noodles eggs and shawarma tilbulo around 12 nga ebeleke crab sipa and dahar so konta nga mal fan ko so different so because nga ke different in it being a chekela soda. Because na restaurant no kita nyameng amantra silokan no speakam batandi je abokono tale so woda madama obeti atale abetiata bakari because molka tunala janna wato wate na fengol so ibikallo ikana nyama akaba wala nyama sometimes domoro buka pare fulo oda kabeba the pipeline jamming Johnson omen dunda kata GRTS equal ta 4 second third Johnson on your right ni lota wale ka home weja business number 2959664 2959664 Home restaurant at the hotel spot in the town. Ala try alena na Njie wato wat.
Wow.
Yes.
Welcome back. Well, that was a look at our hot spots this week, and that is a Homeway Restaurant on Pipeline Road. Now, welcome back. And we go back to our guest, that is Edrisa, head of the Gambian chapter of Global Youth Initiative Network. Now, Ms. Njie, we have a tradition here. We want our viewers around the world to know a little bit about you and areas that you yourself might not think of even explaining to people. And I go straight with the first question is, what 3 words can best describe Edrisa Njie? For example, some people will say, well, I am serious, I am...
Yeah, energetic,
yes.
determined, hardworking.
Fantastic, I like it. You are energetic, determined, and hardworking. Number 2, who are your heroes? Who are the people who inspire you? Look, I have a problem there because I've had a lot of people calling you Genio Halifa Saleh.
Yes.
Not least because of your comportment, the hairstyle, and the way you choose your words. Halifa Mark, you have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
But I must warn you, Halifa has a lot of critics. So
yes.
Why do you think he inspires you?
No, you know, I'm also a Pan-Africanist. I believe in the Pan-Africanist ideology. Yeah. So that's why I've been keeping this afro for more than 10 years now. And my hero is Moses Abukari.
Wow, who is he?
Moses Abukari, he is a Ghanaian.
Oh, I met him from
Yeah, exactly. You met him. He worked with the International Fund for Agricultural Development. At one time, he was the program manager for West and Central Africa. He has inspired me a lot. And even when I was awarded Youth of the Year 2017, I have to dedicate the award to Moses Abukari because the first day I met him in Benin, what he told me, he said, gentleman, it's good that you are part of this conference. I have been following you on the social media platforms. Keep it up.
Good.
So basically, he is the #1.
Now, what is your most vivid childhood memory? What is this one thing that really you can't forget during your childhood?
When I was going to school, they always called me small rat.
Small rat?
Yes.
Do you know I have
the smallest.
Do you know I also have a similar name?
Okay.
Although much out of jokes, I was the smallest in the class.
Exactly, even me. Only that they call me small rat. Even sometimes when I meet.
I know it sounds funny now.
Yes.
Did you feel bullied at the time?
Yes, I feel. Yeah.
Even now, there's somebody still in the media who calls me.
Okay, yes.
Right, so small rat.
Okay,
What is
medium
the
rat.
funniest thing? Probably that could have been, in fact, the answer for number 4. What is the funniest thing that ever happened to you?
The funniest thing that have ever happened to me. Wow. Wow. The funniest thing. I think it was in 2012, April Fool.
Wow.
April Fool's Day, yes. One of my friends fooled me all the way from Jarumbekoto to travel all the way to Janjambure to receive telephone call. You know, in those days, we used to go to Janjambure, you know, someone will call you from Kombo here, you go all the way to Janjambure, Gamtel, then, you know, you receive the call, talk with the person. So I have been sitting there for almost the whole day, no call. So yes, I can't remember that one.
How was the distance?
The distance is about 3 kilometers from Jarbekoto to Janjambure. So
walk.
I have to walk to and fro and also pay $2 for ferry crossing.
That wasn't really got you.
Now let's go to something that the Bunkas are very good at, and that's dishes. What dish, rather? What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish is Tuluse Chu.
Wow.
Tuluse Chu Kong. And if my wife is cooking Tuluse Chu Kong, I don't go out, I have to monitor. Yeah, to see whether she is serving me the best part of it or not. No. Even if I am called at State House for a meeting and my wife is cooking Tuluse Chu, I don't go out, I have to stay. Yes.
But then what will surprise people when they know that about you? What one thing do you think will surprise people if they know that about you? For example, if you today said you are an alcoholic, I've never seen you drink anyway.
Yes.
But would people be surprised? One thing, tell me one thing people will surprise when they know about you.
One thing people will be surprised when they heard about if I travel to Europe and I abscond.
You never did that, is it?
Yes, I never did that.
Yeah, but
The question is
I'm
something that is
now
true about you that people don't know.
Something that's true about me.
And it happened, it will surprise people.
Maybe if I drink alcohol or I
No,
smoke.
something that already happened.
something that already happened.
Yes, but people will be surprised when they know that you did that or that happened to you.
Like maybe people think you are temperamental and all of a sudden you are not. Maybe you understand for yourself you are not.
Wow.
I think I'll be surprised to know anything.
So all what
It's difficult.
all what you do is normal. There's nothing that anybody will expect cannot come from you.
Maybe if I
Hopefully
am
happen.
involved in a fight, physical fight.
You fought someone.
Yeah, there was a time when I was going to school, you know, sometimes they call me small rat.
And then you,
yeah,
you didn't like that.
Yeah, I could remember also in my early days in the media sometimes and can be very arrogant. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So what is one thing
You are
you
not
can't
fought for
do
it.
without? Whether it's a habit or something you take or you do every day, but you can't do without it. What's that? Very indispensable to your everyday life.
It's
For Mustafa, it's his laptop.
Yeah, my life is my laptop.
wow.
Something you cannot do without.
Without my telephone.
But that was since 2001, isn't it?
Yes, because I'm
Before
now
2000.
so much addicted to my telephone.
Now you can.
Yes, now you can, and also social media platforms.
Now, finally, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Are you going to be perhaps abandon this gene business and
compete contest for
and go to be the presidential candidate, or if there is any sort of for doing, or maybe secretary general
Yeah.
No,
in the next 10 years?
to
Will be a
become
politician.
IFAD president.
Wow! That's quite really an
Yeah.
ambition.
That's an ambition.
That's an ambition.
But it's
But a
possible.
very realistic
Very
one.
possible.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very possible.
Yes.
Now, Edrisa Njie of Gene Gambia, thank you very much for
Mamadou
being part
Edrisa.
of,
Yes,
Mamadou
thank you
Edrisa,
so much.
Mamadou Edrisa Njie for being part of the Gambia, the brunch from Kerr, Fatou. Panelists, Njie and Mustafa. Of course, you have all expressed your opinion, your impression about Gene. What are the things you're looking out for the coming week?
For me, first of all, I would like to say congratulations to our host, Joy Wama, for graduating today with a BSc in economics, and all the other students from UTG who are graduating today.
Let's forget that
She's
you are part of
studying
it.
economics.
I'm part of the UTG. I should have been at the graduation. I am not.
You
Fatou
think
has
she's
hijacked
studying
me.
economist or you know?
I'm certain,
sure?
fairly certain that she has graduated in.
Mustafa, there's going to be a second session of the TRRC. Are you looking for that? Maybe we'll be back here
Yeah,
before
that would be in February. But you know, for
We're
me,
in February, my friend.
yeah, February 11th.
Maybe we'll get here before
So
then anyway.
yeah, February 11th. So, but there are a lot of things that are happening that are also part of the TRRC, and I'm currently following some other things such as reparation.
Yes.
You know that there are victims who are sick and they've been treated. They've been seen by the medical board already, and TRRC is doing also some outreach programs. And for someone whose inflows from outside depends on TRRC, that person will be following it.
There you
So yeah, so I will be following TRRC through and through. Even when they are not having sessions, there are other activities that are happening that I'll be following. But most importantly, I hope we come here with a bigger story.
Okay.
A bigger story. Well, when we are here, that will be unveiled.
That's what all
Exactly.
journalists want.
I hope, of course, if it's not already been treated in the newspapers. Well, thank you very much, Njie, Mustafa, and our guest, Mamadou Edrisa Njie of Gene Gambia. And on behalf of Joy Wama, I've been told that's the right name, Wama, who is your regular presenter. I'm Lavin Chan, wishing you all the best and welcome you back to another brunch next week.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.